Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Howdy, 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 and welcome back into time. It is the Spec Racer Ford's Weekend Warriors presented by RaceVoice. We are here in the past. It's back in 2008 where everything was really great, I would say. Here at Phoenix International Raceway. I had to correct myself because it was not clarified as Speedway until right now, but other small facts aside, it's the road course from 2008, and this is a beauty of a track. So much trickiness to be had here on the tricky Phoenix Oval, and I'm going to say a lot of these drivers were very looking forward to this race, but I can tell you somebody who was looking forward to this race, they're sitting right beside me. It's Charles Bushell. He joins me in the commentary booth. We got Jonathan Grabowski in the production booth, and you're here live watching Apex Racing TV. Charles, we're here in Phoenix, baby. How you feeling?
Hey, awesome. No, man, I'm feeling good. I was watching practice. This is going to be a very interesting race. There's a couple of little tricky sections on this track that the driver's going to have to be aware of, especially turn one, which blends very, very well, which is not well in this situation with it out. So that's going to be a very interesting thing to watch. So yeah, you know, love watching these spec racers go around the tracks, and it's going to be another good race. I'm just absolutely sure of it.
It really is, and yeah, turn one is to turn two is going to be the big talking point right here, because turn one, it's a short turn one, and it's got a little bit of a straight, but then turn two is a elongated left-hander. Then it suddenly tightens up, and you're going to be seeing a lot of drivers battling with that rear end of the car to get it slowed down, but carry enough momentum through that corner to actually get a respectable lap time getting out of that corner. If they can get all that right, you're in for a very good lap, but also you got to watch out, because remember, we make pit stops in this race, and the pit exit is right on the inside of turn one, turn two. So the pit exit here is going to be very crucial for all the drivers, not just the leaders, all the drivers heading through turn one or exiting the pits, because it's so easy to get into an incident right here, as well as pit entry. Other good spots, it's the exit onto the oval, that very tight hairpin. You can make a side-by-side fight up, and then it's onto the oval, get a partner, get some draft over there, fling it into turns 3 and 4 of the oval, then onto the front straightaway. The inside course, is very simple, I would say, but very deceivious. It will make you miss a few things.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're right. You know, anytime you go to these road courses that are built around oval tracks, it always seems like the oval off corner and then the oval on corner are always very, very treacherous. You have to be very careful. Oh, somebody coming in hot, the 905 just came in way hotter than the rest of the cars. And we'll see a lot of that today, especially, like you said, with the blend of pit out into turn 1 and 2. When we get to that midpoint of the race and we start getting those pit stops hot and heavy, drivers are going to have to be on their toes.
Drivers are really going to have to be on their toes here today, as we saw, very easy for drivers to make mistakes, but the biggest mistake that we're probably going to be seeing is speeding in the pit lane. Stevie Ray in practice actually got speeding twice in a row.
Well, if Stevie's going to do it, then he's probably not the only one that's going to get caught doing that.
I got caught doing it as well, but I was not in a race, so I wasn't really penalized, but I messed it up pretty badly. Then again, I did hit a wall before that, so that also was my bad.
That doesn't help. Yeah, that doesn't really help. As you were saying with the infield section there's some really quick left-right sections, so some S's that are in there, but there's not really a lot of really, I would say, technical corners. So
I would say this section that we're in is the most technical. You need to be braking before that corner, hit that apex, then you get onto the power. That is the most technical spot, and then slamming onto the brakes for that hairpin. It's a good opportunity for overtakes right here, or just setting yourself up for that oval. And heading onto the oval, it's kind of tricky. You can full throttle it, but you can't always full throttle it. So there's a little bit of a lift that needs to happen in there, unless you have the right prep, the right setup, the right prep to make that actually happen. But yeah, the infield and the oval, it really blends together. It's deceivious because you think it's like, oh, it's just a few turns here, nothing really that difficult, but when you actually drive it, it becomes a pretty big challenge.
Yeah, I would think so. And this being the 2008 version of the track, I would say some of the newer drivers, I think iRacing may not even had a race here. So this may be practicing all week and running the spec race with Ford officials just to get prepped for this race.
Absolutely, and well, if they have rallycross experience, I think Phoenix 2008 is used more as a rallycross circuit than the road course ever been. But as you can see, a big move onto the inside by Marco Panero. He was locking up and sliding throughout that corner, and I'm surprised he made it.
I mean, you just talked about the rally course. Maybe that's what he was thinking, is he's just going to rally the car around that corner and just drift it and see if he can make it out the other side. And he did, but I think he's probably ruined those tires for qualifying.
He realized that lap was as toasted as his front left.
That's right. I will say this, I'm looking at the lap times from qualifying. It's a pretty tight field. I mean, look, obviously we got some, it's basically 1 second from P1 to P25. So, I mean, that's a pretty tight packed field. So there's going to be really interesting to see who can make the most and chain a lot of good laps together, maybe move up the grid during the race.
Yeah, the potential for moving up the grid is very possible, but as you can see, they got 20 minutes of qualifying, so everybody's going to be putting their best foot forward here in qualifying especially, and we're going to be sorry, I just had a train of thought interruption. That's going to be it's going to be very tight in qualifying, but race pace is different from quality pace, and it's going to be I would say, interesting race so far. The front will try to pull away from everybody else like they usually do, but they're always just one little slide away from something big to happen. I'm expecting turn 1, turn 2 to be a big talking point here today.
I think you're right. I think it usually is, right? So anytime you're in an iRacing event, lap one, turn one is always something you want to go back and look at after the race.
We are currently still in the infield. It's that long right-hander with that tightening radius corner, and then the opening radius corner, the rallycross course. The joke laps on the outside of that corner, fun enough, and it's really fun. As you can see, a move heading back onto the oval, and that is how you want to do it. Oh no, and that is not how you want to do it.
It was going so well there for a minute.
And then I opened my mouth.
You did. Commentators curse in about 2.5 seconds.
Well, the race hasn't even started yet, so. As you can see, my mouth is directly intertwined with unfortunate incidents. So if you have a driver that you do not want to have an incident, my PayPal is. No, I don't take bribes. If it happens, and I'm sorry. If you want my Cash App, DM me on Twitter. Yeah, qualifying, the time has ended right now. We still got a few drivers that have started. One final lap before that has happened. I think Dude Castro just finished out his lap time. York Monty comes across the line, sitting 4th overall. First in the Masters, and that last time was a 107.49, so that is not going to count. See our live qualifying on the bottom of the screen. Favini, Galopitero, Gold, Samoas, and Lasky. They're out there. No improvements on the lap currently for these drivers. Looking through the field, Cavarlo has improved to 23rd with a 104.19. He's currently parked on turn 1 and just wiping the sweat from his eyes right there.
I was sitting here looking at, as you mentioned, York Monty, the Masters pole sitter. I was looking a little further down the order, and in the Masters class, P2 through 5 is separated by 0.03 of a second, a little under 0.03 of a second. So he's got a nice gap, but we've seen Jorg have good days and not so good days. So we'll see if he can keep it together today, because I'm still waiting on one of those Masters guys to win the race overall. That's what I'm rooting for.
Yeah, those Masters guys, well, you being a part of that club, you definitely, I see who you're biased towards.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm almost there. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm almost there.
Give it a year.
Yeah.
Here's our starting lineup here at Phoenix, and they're going to be starting on the front straightaway. So we got a pretty good, amount of time to run y'all through this grid. It's Marco Panero starting up on pole for Alex Kart Racing Raptor. Ahead of Felix Samoas, Dudu Castro, and Jorg Monty, Alex Bleva, and Simon Meyer, followed by Andreas Bertoni and Evandro Dantes. Fabio Scali and Alo Dubino ahead of Todd Hansen and Aaron Vogel in 12th. Jason Green, followed by Kane Lasky, Devin Keller, Megan Overstreet, Bobby West, Michael Nelson, Dan Wood, Antonio Reese, Chris Murakami, Jim Brewster, Pedro Cavarlo, and Ken Bately in 24th. They're followed by Luca Leone, Chris Montgomery, Toxin Yu, and Andrea Favini. They're followed by Tom Gradwell, Aiden Campbell, Marco Trespidi, Adam Bradshaw, Charlie Vaccaro, Steven Mitchell, Brad Cathcart, and Ian Gibson in 36th place. Behind them is Bradford Gold, Trenton Kramer, Phil Berry, Paul Jackson, Mike Knutson, and Stevie Ray. They're followed by Jeff Jacobson, Jeff Cantor, the Jeffs in 43rd and 44th, Cullen Calapetero, and Gary Woodbolt, and Bob Kern, and Michelle Vaglini in 48th. Our final spots are Mike Sherman and Ben Jacobs in 49th and 50. Gianni Longhin did not set a lap time, but the Alex Kart Racing Raptor Masters driver will be starting from 51st on the grid, as we are getting ready to get underway behind this beautiful iRacing unbranded. No. This is the Porsche. It is branded. The iRacing Porsche safety car. I thought we were using the sedan here, and I'm glad I did have to pull that joke out.
Yeah, Stevie.
And let's go and throw up the points right now. So we definitely do have a lot of time to spare, as behind the Porsche safety car, getting a little bit of a bump draft by Marco Pinero. And Marco Pinero, well, he definitely wants to be going, and he's leading the points by a pretty big margin right now, ahead of Kane Lasky and Jason Green. They're followed by Felix Simoes and Du Castro, your top 5. And over to Spec 2. I'm going to give that to Charles.
All right. So Todd Hansen, Ian Gibson, still really tied at the top of the standings here for the Spec 2 class. Bradford Gould in 3rd, Daniel Wood 4th, Paul Jackson is your top 5, separated by 52 points between 1st and 5th. So still lots and lots to play for in this group.
And on to the Masters class. It is York Monty on top of the field, ahead of Chris Murakami, Tom Gradwell, and Adam Bradshaw, and Andrew Love, your top 5 right there. As the field is heading on to the back straightaway, the Porsche safety car is about to pull off as we are getting ready to rock and roll here at Phoenix. As pace car pulls in, and we go green behind Marco Pinero, as we are rocking and rolling, already going 3 wide right behind him. Pinero taking the green flag as we dive it into turn 1. Pinero diving all the way down to the inside to protect that inside line. Everybody is keeping it. Oh, we got a little bit of an incident right behind them, as York Monty is now trying to look onto the outside of Alex Pleva, as they go side by side, bumping and banging with each other right now, but Monty onto the inside, able to sneak his way up back into 4th place. Is behind them a little bit of smoke show, as that is Talkskin around just a little bit on that inside line, and he's going to be trying to get that Spec Racer 4 back up. And we got a car looking down. Oh, we got a big incident right here in the hairpin, this first hairpin, as that is a multiple incident. Kane Lassie, Chris Montgomery involved in that incident, as well as Aiden Campbell as well. Big incident right there, and we go back to our shot for the leaders. Marco Pinero leading out Felix Simoes, and Simoes is right on that gearbox of Marco Pinero, heading through turns 3 and 4 and onto the front straight right here as we continue on this lap. Let's go throw it over to a replay of our lap 1 incident of what involved Chris Montgomery.
Ooh, I'm not really sure how that happened. It's like maybe somebody got cut off or spun, but there we go. Oh, yeah, just a little. So that was a double punt right there. So he punts the guy in front out of the way, and then the guy behind punts him out of the way, and nowhere for that 04 car to go.
We go back to live pictures right now, looking at Marco Pinero ahead of Du Castro, who is overtaking Felix Simoes, and as everybody is trying to catch up to Pinero, who's pulled out a pretty big gap, but Castro right behind him, making that move on Felix as they headed into turn 1. And I'm going to say Marco Pinero is probably going to be glad that there's a little bit of gap behind him heading into turn 1, as having a car behind you heading into turn 1. It's going to have a little bit of trust exercise, as that is York Monty going for a big slider entering that corner.
Yeah, he always starts out hot during these races, so he's always trying to move forward.
And he moves in a little bit too hot, entering that corner, allowing the 49 of Alex Pleva and Dantes to look down to the inside. He cuts Dantes off, but Pleva now defending onto the inside. Monty looking around to the outside right now. They go side by side. And a little bit of a movement early on in the break zone. And big move by Dantes off to the inside of Monty. Monty getting a little bit of a bump behind by Bertoni. Bertoni looking down to the inside of Monty, but now they're going to go 3 wide behind Monty as they are all side by side by side. We're riding on board of Andreas Bertoni looking onto the outside of York Monty. He's stuck onto the outside. You see a car that is Tobino behind him. Well, on the inside of him, gives him a little bit of a bump and a nudge. The 5 of Simon Myers also in there right now, right behind of York Monty. Monty cuts in front of the 50 of Tubino, and Felix Samoas up ahead of him is off the track. Felix is off the track. Monty locks up. Monty gets turned by Bertoni, and we got 2 of our top drivers down the field. York Monty as well as where is Felix Samoas? Yeah, Samoas is now down in 7th place, and I think big crash into the wall is Dudu Castro. We're going to go see what has happened to Felix and then go back to what's happened to Dudu, and this is actually involving both of them. And clobbered. A little bit of lockup by Dudu Castro, and Felix is way to the back, and then that lap went from bad to even nightmares worse for Dudu Castro. As we cut away from that, we saw side by side and rocket ship into the wall for Dudu Castro.
Yeah, it's really sad. So Castro is, since I've been doing these races, he's got really good pace, but he always seems to get caught up in something, which always seems to hurt his finishing positions. As we're coming up with a replay here.
He's going slow onto the inside. He's got Murakami on his outside, and I think this is just a little bit of unfortunateness, and he was trying to get onto the track, but Murakami was right there on the racing line, and that's pretty much just trying to drive up into a wall, expecting the wall to move.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's just we're out of racing room there, you know, if you're off the track, they don't have to let you back on.
But he's going to argue that he was pushed off the track, which in a way he was, but also sometimes got to give and take and speed up in front. That's the 11 of Bertoni, and this is the worst spot to be spun in. A big lick to the front end. He's going to back up to the wall to hopefully give some more people room. And he gets hit again. And I think he's broken suspension. We got 1, we got 2, we got 3 cars all collected in there. A big lockup by another car. And I'm thinking we're going to be seeing a little bit of 4th. Bradford Gold and Pedro Cavardo are also involved there as well. Devin Keller was one of the cars that has just died into the pit lane to avoid all of that. But a big amount of incidents happening here at the start of this race, and already, well, we had action at the very front straightaway, and we got action on the back. This is what happened to Bertoni. He's chasing down the 242 of Fabio Scali. He just gets right up there, but over-rotates the car, trying to carry it a little bit too much mustard in there, and then everyone's just trying to split the seas. Bertoni, he's trying to move there. A big lick to the front. He then backs it up, trying to get it going again, but he's unable. Then a big lick to the back, and I think that's broken suspension. And then another big lick right there. That's 3 cars and 4 cars involved, and there's another incident of a car behind him. Well, the cars that have been into the pit lane involved in 2 incidents: Kane Lasky, Michelle Vagelini, Dudu Castro, Bertoni, and Monty, and Stevie Ray is also in the pits. I'm not sure what's happened to Stevie right there, but he's been in the pits since the start of this race, and I feel like he's just taking on admin duty here today, as this is Chris Murakami going down to the inside and taking it up 12th place, also up 9 spots where he started today.
Yeah, for the guys that were behind that spin, you know, blind corner, it's a really tight hairpin, and everything was telling you is get back on the gas as quick as you can. And as you get the car rotated around, if you're a single screen racer like myself, that car just basically comes out of nowhere, and there's nothing you can do about it. Ooh, as we see a little punt there by the 38 against the 27 car. That's Favini again. He's been in more contact. Car does not look good. Yeah.
That car looks like it's met a blender or food processor or something. As we're gonna see what's happened to Andrea Favini. As well, there's so many things that has happened that our replay system is just broken. But this is what's happened to Tom Gradwell, as he's been involved in an incident. Actually, no incident to be seen. As
Ooh,
well,
straight into the wall.
that will knock some teeth out of your face right there.
Yeah, yes, it will. Yeah, in the left front's just
and also break the wheels as well.
Yeah.
But hey, if you what I would also say it would give your spinal a little bit of adjustment as well, but we're not going to go that far.
No. Now, luckily these are digital and nobody's hurt.
Yep. Nobody has to.
Car's broken. Yep.
Nobody has to take a little bit of medical insurance on sim racing injuries, though. The most common sim racing injury is actually a tweaked wrist.
That's somebody with their direct drive turned up way too high.
What? No, I'm not talking about experience at all. No, my right hand is totally fine. Looking at our Spec 2 leader, Aaron Vogel, also known as Lithium, sitting in first, right ahead of Megan Overstreet right now. He is in that 247, just a little bit ahead of Fabio Scali right behind him, but he's doing a very good job. Up 5 spots so far ahead of Megan Overstreet, who is also doing extremely well. She's up 8 spots. This is Tom Gradwell in 6th place of our Masters, battling for 5th in class. He's chasing down Bradshaw and Trespidi ahead of him. Trespidi and Spec 2. He's got to watch out behind him, though, as that is Charlie Vaccaro. There's a car turned around on the inside of turn on the inside of that turn. That is Mark Sherman. He's been there for a lap, I believe. We head into this hairpin. Let's go up to our fight for 2nd place. Alex Plava is now into 2nd place ahead of Eduardo Dantes, chasing down Marco Pinero. But Pinero 6 seconds in the lead right now. And it's Plava trying to chase it down. Eduardo Dantes in 3rd, followed by Joao Tubino. The 2 Brazilians in 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, Pinero, because most of the guys he was battling sitting in the pits, he's just kind of checked out from the rest of the field, but this is a pretty good battle for the rest of the podium position, so it's going to be fun to watch here.
It really is, and I'm excited to see what everyone does. Pit lane incident. Gold is headed into the pit lane, as well as Daniel Wood. So I think there might have been a little bit of contact between those two. We'll see if any more heads out of this place, but this is a good fight for 3rd place between the 2 Brazilians. Tubino right on the bumper, as I would say, in a good bit of spacing to his fellow countrymen, as they're trying to chase down Plava ahead of him. As the look to Marco Pinero, well, you're just wishing upon a star if you want to catch up to him. A little bit of difference in lines. To see how Plava hugs that inside wall. Dantes goes out a little bit wider, and Tubino also favors that inside wall just a little bit, well as heading through that inside section. A lot of curb uses, as now Plava is being stuck with traffic on his outside. That is a lapped car ahead of Plava, and hopefully they do not have any well, I said hopefully, but no, that is a big implementation. Plava getting on the bumper, and whoa, where has they've gone? I think they've just been sent to the shadow realm from that, as Plava onto the inside. He's under pressure because the 2 Brazilians, a Brazilian train on the outside, gets into the draft, and here comes Dantes. Dantes looking down to the inside. It's a drag race. The full-time esports by TK car of Eduardo Dantes looking down to the inside, and here comes the other Brazilian of Tubino. Tubino looking down to the inside as well, as they had a car stuck onto the inside, exiting the pits as well. It's a full-on gaggle as Tubino and Dantes jumped into 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah, that was just great battling. That lap car did not do them any favors. Kind of paid the price for it, but he's not out of it. He's just kind of shuffled back a couple spots. Absolutely can make that time back up.
I would say I would say Flava would be a little bit livid. Oh, that's a 70-67 up for Speedy. And Charlie Vaccaro involved in that incident.
As we're looking at the replay here.
This is turn one.
Yep.
Watch Speedy and there's a little bit of a lockup ahead of him, and there, boom. Well, Charlie Vaccaro, completely innocent party and all that. You can see the action happening in front of him. The car's already rotated, and then just unfortunately unavoidable for Vaccaro, and it's unavoidable, unfortunate. It's one of those iRacing things that you see it and you're just like, I can't believe that's just has happened. Cars that have entered the pits: Gold, Wood, Campbell, Barry, Lasky, Favini, Jacobs, Sherman, Vaginini, Yu, Woodbolt, Castro, Bertoni, Monty, and Ray. And some big names already in the pits from incidents or just fuel stops, but I'm pretty sure we haven't entered fuel stops as well because, well, Stevie Ray is our usual caveat for just like, hey, should pit right here, but he has taken this one out.
Yeah, so we're going to have to find a new leader in the clubhouse here to come in and be our first pit stop person.
We were expecting Yan Shi-Lin to hop in here with us, but he's been having a little bit of microphone issues, so he's not joining us. And hello to all the retired drivers in our YouTube chat.
But that's some interesting conversations going on in that chat right now.
Hopefully they're keeping everything very civilized with each other and not throwing any shade.
So see Hanson in the pits. He was fairly up the order, so maybe he's our first pit taker. Get Overstreet and the 89 West battling on track. That's for P8 in class and P9 overall.
Yeah, it's West looking down to the inside of Overstreet in for 8th place as they go down to the inside, and Bobby West down to the inside of Overstreet, but Overstreet is now onto the inside of Bobby West. West goes a little bit high, but now West is sitting in 8th. Overstreet right behind him. Megan, I think it was the first time that Megan has been overtaken in this race. She is looking for a very wide entry, but what a save by Megan. Overstreet, the back end of that car kicked way out right there, but she was able to keep that one steady right there for the, well, to stay ahead of Fabio Scali, but what a save.
Yeah, that was a great catch because that car was about 45 degrees sideways, and she was able to wrangle it back in and continue forward. And she's lost about a second or so behind West, but you know, once you get in this draft up here, you can start making some of that time back up.
And with Jordan Monty out of the picture right now, in the lead is Michael Nelson. And that 959, the driver from Denmark, is his first time leading in the Masters class. Jorg Monty has informed me that he cheated. I'm expecting a little bit of shade right there, but oh no.
There we go.
Woo! Well, he took it wide and he was fine right there. Pretty sure my heart could not take that one.
Yeah, that was, as you like to say, a little too much mustard coming into that corner. Had to hang the car way out wide to get it to get back in the groove here.
Yeah, that was almost a peak commentator's curse right there, or a Monty curse, as some might say, because Monty was the one talking praises about him before I did. But then again, I read chat so actively I thought it, so I'm sorry. He's still in the lead though, so we're good. Speaking of the lead, here is our fight. Well, here's our leading pack, excluding Panero. who is now 8.5 seconds ahead of these two. And, well, these 5, really. And, Tobino chasing down Dantes. And here's Felix Samoas, who was fighting from the front, involved in an incident with Dudu Castro, which put him all the way down to, I believe, like, I don't think it was 17th, but it was in the 10s. He's now back up into 5th.
Yeah, I watched him a couple of laps ago. He was about 2.5 to 3 seconds behind this group, so he is absolutely on a tear right now. And he's brought, looks like he's brought Meyer with him.
Yeah, Simon Meyer is also with these two as they go side by side for the lead of this group for second place. As they go Dantes and Tabino. Tabino on the inside, Dantes on the outside. A little bit earlier braking by Tabino, but a harder brake by Dantes, and Tabino jumps up into second place. Very easy move, but hello, Felix! Into 4th, sneaking his way through that inside line. I thought everyone was taking that one just in a little bit of agreement, like, hey, we should take this a little bit slower and take this calm work together. And Felix said, hold my beer, and sent it.
Absolutely did. He took a really tight inside line through there and was able to work his way around.
I don't think Felix drinks beer. I don't know what the preferred drink of Portugal is. Hold my Super Bock, I would say.
There you go.
Jonathan Grabowski pulling out the wisdom of international drinks of choice. Because he was in Portugal last fall.
that local knowledge is always important.
Yeah, I might need to take a world tour and just bill Apex as this is a business expense. And Felix, oh, he did it again! Felix Samoas, as soon as we switched away, yeah, he's onto the inside of Dantes, and yeah, hold my Super Puck. Oh, he gets a little bit of a bump from behind of Felipe Dantes, but Felix Samoas down to the inside and sneaking ahead of Evandro.
Yeah, he's found a really good line inside there.
He's dialed that turn 1 in there, and even with a really damaged car, the front left of his car is a little bit banged up. He just leaves that door open, and he's like, all right, I'm going to walk through it, and I'll see you later. He's up ahead right now, and just gets a bump off the exit, but hey, that bump gave a little bit of speed to stay ahead, but ooh, he found the best gap to go through it, and he squeezed through that gap.
Yeah,
The gap between these cars and the walls off the exit of this hairpin is extremely, extremely tight.
Yeah, he's found a little bit of I don't say it's a cheeky move, but it's a move that he's got to be very careful because he's coming down basically into a pit exit to make that move on the inside. And as we're coming up on pit stop time, the move may not be there the next time he comes up because there may be a car exiting pits and he's just going to get trapped. And that may work for him, or it may work against him.
Yeah, that move it's currently working right now, but in the future times, it might not be, because we are halfway into this race, and I'm expecting the half of the cars that have not gone into the pit lane to head into the pits very soon. So we're looking at Felix chasing down Tabino for the lead of this pack as they enter onto the oval, heading into turn 4. Well, turns 3 and 4 here at Phoenix.
Yeah, I will say this. He's running, obviously got great pace considering he's got damage on the left front.
You know what that car looks like? It looks like one of those dirt modifieds, just the left end lifted up. So he's great on the oval, I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, those dirt modifieds on front look extremely weird. The entire front lip of the car just tilted up. It was like, you have to tilt your head and make them look right. 2000 NASCARs of the Twisted Sisters. And ooh, lockup by Felix. And a little bit of an accordion effect right behind him. Goes a little bit wide. Dantes could look onto the inside right now. He is onto the inside. He's going to watch this exit, though. They're going to be side by side. Dantes on the outside. Felix onto the inside. Dantes gets onto the brakes a little bit early. And allowed Felix right there, trying to look for a switchback, a little bit of a bump to the back end, and Dantes now onto the inside of Felix, and he's alongside him. And this is going to be a little bit of a heated match through 3 and 4, but look at Dantes going down to the inside. Felix decided to say, all right, I'm going to go high, and oh, a late decider. Plava dives into the pit lane.
Yeah, I think it's probably a good, he can sit there and fight, and or he can say there's Overstreet comes into the pits also. He said, let me go ahead and take my pit stop now, and we'll see if we can get some clean air.
Pit entry. This pit speed limit is 29 miles per hour. 29 is a pretty slow pit lane. And everybody entering that has to go from on the oval to slamming on the brakes in these cars. And that is going to be a big practice points for a few of these drivers. Let's separate the classes up and see who is where. Clevenero is leading out your pros and the overall race as expected. It's Michael Nelson leading out your Masters class. And in the lead of Spec 2 is Vogeli in first place right there. Lithium in 6th place overall, leading out Spec 2. He's being chased down by Fabio Scali right behind him. But other than those two, the rest of Spec 2 is 23 seconds behind him.
That's a big gap as we see Samoa's come into the pits.
Scali, I think, was entering the pits as well, but he's decided not to. His interval went to feet, which is usually indicating of running into the pit lane. And Felix Samoas has dived into the pits. And I'm pretty sure he's going to be getting that front nose repair, so he might be spending a little bit more time into the pits than everybody else. Yep. About 10 seconds stationary, then he's back on going. Let's ride on board of Michael Nelson, our Masters leader, sitting in 9th place. Right behind the 160 of Jason Green.
Yeah, obviously first time out, having a really good run. Leading the Masters class. He's got 2, what I would say are crafty veterans behind him with Reese and Murakami, a half second apart from each other. So I'm sure if they stay in line, they'll do their best to try and make up that gap. 2.5 seconds between P1 and P2 in class. West is in the pits. Coming out of 6th place in class. Spinero is just still stretching that gap over to Bino's 11.7. With Dantas and Mayer still hanging behind Cabino within a second of him.
And within a second, everyone's trying to chase him down, but Pinero, 11 seconds in the lead. I would say he can hop into the pit lane, be stopped, and exit the pit lane and exit right beside everybody. Hey, let's go find out my theory right now as he swings it into the pit lane as Pinero enters the pits. But I'm going to say everybody's going to be following him as well. Tabino right behind him, looking like he is entering the pits. No, he's not. The Brazilians are staying on the outside. Simon Meyer is entering the pits as well as the 17 of Calapitero, right beside, right in front of him as well. But he's actually gave him a blue flag in the pit lane to let him by. Or his box is back there. I'm not sure which was his. I just want to say the blue flag was in the pit lane. He was like, yep, you go ahead. I don't want any of that on me. As Jeff Cantor is in 8th in the Masters, currently sitting 18th overall ahead of Vaccaro. He's onto the outside of the track, getting real friendly with that wall up there. Has not gone into the pit lane. Pinero came out of the pits in 9th place.
Yeah, he had actually his stoppage time in the pits was about a second less than everybody else who pitted before him. So he's either been able to save fuel and not have to doesn't have to take as much, or he's maybe short pitted, but I don't think that's the case. I think he's probably just said, you know what, I really don't need them. I'm not really having to push that hard, so I can just sip on it a bit. Tabino just sideways coming down in there trying to get on the brakes. Dantas right behind him, 4/10 of a second back. Just kind of staying in his tracks, working their way through the infield.
As Tabino still leading out Dantas. Dantas trying to catch him up right there, but just a little bit too far away. But these two, I'm expecting to be working with each other throughout this race.
Yeah, it would make sense just to be smart and just kind of stay in line and until it's time to come into the pits. There's no need to fight because the more you fight, the more time you're going to lose during the course of the race. As we come back to see the 267 car, that's Kelleher, right behind Overstreet.
Well, someone's having a Fabio Scali. He's just dropped down to 7th and 8th and back. That's that turn one. He's missed turn one, and he's turned around in the oval. And this is a risky reach one right there, right ahead of Marco Pinero, who just sneaks onto the inside.
Yeah, maybe we'll get a replay of that and see what he did. But it just kind of looks like maybe he just came in too hot. Maybe lost the rear as he's coming down on the brakes.
Well, asking you shall receive. This is what happened to Fabio. And Green's up onto the inside. And
that was a little assistance there on that one. So a little push. Broke a little earlier than the and so there you go, up into the wall.
I just got an update from Stevie Ray. He left on the pace lap and forgot to exit the session completely, and so he has the Ray Esports Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warriors record for the longest pit stop.
Well, congratulations to Stevie. If anybody should have it, it should be him, right?
Yeah, it should be him of 29 minutes.
We see Dantas in the pits.
Yeah, Felipe into the pits for a second time. Wait, no. I'm thinking of Samoa. No, this is Dantas.
Yep.
I've called him Felipe again for like the third time today, and I'm getting everyone confused.
Oh, that's with a 51 car field, that's going to happen.
Yes, and with somebody who has a little bit of dyslexia in his system, it's a little bit hard to read names on the fly and remember everyone.
Yeah. So we see Tabino's still out, hasn't pitted yet.
Gradwell, Keller, Mitchell, and Kern all have headed into the pits at the same time. Yeah, in that little train of a pit entry. It's 917. I said that was the farthest away from the bottom box I would ever see. Just out of turn one. And Aaron, up in his second place now, has not gone into the pit lane yet. He is ahead of Green, Nelson, and Reese right behind him. I have to say, he's doing really, really well here today.
Yeah, I think there's still 10 or so cars that haven't pitted yet. They're stretching it for as long as they can go. As we see this on track here, the battle for second with Vogeli and Green and Nelson in 3 separate classes. So it's very interesting. You've got a Spec 2 and a Spec 1 and a Masters all battling together.
I'm expecting these guys to head into the pits because Tabino has just died into the pits right now. I'm expecting that train to head into the pits. And yep, there goes Aaron as Green has just passed him. And there goes Nelson. But Jason Green is now your overall leader of the race.
Awesome job. He's managed to save quite a bit of fuel, obviously.
Yeah, but how much fuel does he have left in that car?
Let's hope enough to get back around.
Yes, that is always the big hope that you have another little bit of fuel, and hopefully you don't have another incident. There's a car off right in front of him, and a little bit of spice right there.
Yeah, that's never one thing you want to see is the headlights of another car as you're making a corner.
Especially when these cars don't have headlights.
Correct.
So if one of these cars had headlights, you're just seeing headlights, you're seeing something wrong. Somebody's doing donuts right there. Was that Tevin Keller?
I think so.
I don't think we need a replay of these donuts, but we're going to be looking at what's happened to Keller. Devin on the outside of the track. Does he just miss time? Oh, yep, that's a missed time right there.
Yeah, that's a self spin to avoid contact with another car.
I said he was doing donuts because I saw him just sliding on the track, and I was like, is he doing donuts right there? Because my CPU usage just spiked, and I was trying to figure out what that was the cause of it. I thought somebody was doing donuts, because that's usually when it happens.
So Green and Rez are in. I think, is that the last of our pitters? I think it is. It's the last one. So everybody's made their pit stops.
And back to normal. Here's how things stand. Panero sits ahead of Samoa's ahead of Dantas, Meyer, Pleva, Green. Vogel has got a massive gap in Spec 2 to Hansen in 13th. They're followed by West Overstreet. Nelson leading out the Masters. We got a close fight for the Masters as Antonio Reese exits right behind of Nelson.
Yeah, he waited till the very last minute and took a much quicker pit stop, and that has enabled him to close that gap up to Nelson. So that's going to be a battle for the Masters class win.
And I can tell you what, Antonio Reese didn't head into the pits because he was bored this time.
No, I'm going to guess he needed fuel this time. He just
he had a purpose.
Yeah.
And he is right on of Michael Nelson's bumper right now, heading through NASCAR 3 and 4 here at Phoenix. Back in 2008, a little trip back into the past. Just tried to go for the little bit of switchback opportunity right there. Try to sneak onto the inside, but it wasn't happening right now. It's going to be staying behind of Nelson as you can hear the tires squeaking for life as they tackle through turn 1s and 2.
And Nelson's doing everything he can. He's using every inch of the track and then some.
Jinx.
Yeah, but then Reyes is in his toe.
Yeah, Antonio is just right there with Michael. They slam it into the hairpin once more. So we go back to our fight for second. Samoa's under pressure by Dantas. Dantas looking down to the inside and swinging it up there. But remember how Felix likes to go. He likes to break early and then carry speed throughout that inside line. But that inside line is covered by Evandro Dantas for second place.
I think Dantas has seen that movie once or twice during this race, and he kind of knows what the ending's going to be, unless he keeps that car tight. This car spun off on the outside there. Yeah, still battling. 3-car battle for P2 in this. Spanero's basically 15 seconds ahead. He's checked out. He can just kind of coast the rest of the way, and hopefully stay out of trouble. And he'll pick this win up with a little under 4 minutes left in the race. But this battle is not done yet. Ooh. You see the 31 car had to kind of brake and evade. Was inside and like he just got cut off. So he had to give it up. Had to reset and try this again. That has enabled the gap to grow up to over a second now. So Samoa's is going to have to do a little work to get back up there so he can battle. See a big train of cars here. P7 through P, looks like 12 or 13 on track. And we're seeing moves still being made. So race is not quite over yet for some of these drivers. See Overstreet on the outside of that corner trying to hang it out. Able to make the pass. 914 car come on deep.
That's a little bit of a gaggle right there, right in front of him. And he snuck onto the inside of that lap car to cause some separation right there, as Antonio taking advantage of these lap cars now, just trying to just sneak another car in between them of him and Michael Nelson. And he's doing just that right now onto the inside with just less than 3 minutes to go. Diving into turn one, and yeah, Nelson cannot get closer to him heading into turn one because of all this gaggle that they've intertwined in.
Yeah, this is a big battle.
Oh, this is an advantage move.
Yeah, that's...
Well, that advantage is now 2 cars, and they're side by side and battling in front of Nelson. And oh, watch out! Woo!
That was close. Another one of those cars that kind of got offline and just basically had to lock it up to keep from taking out somebody else.
Well, Michael Nelson almost saw his first place opportunity gift wrapped to him because of that. They kept on going.
Still got Dantas and Samoas up here battling for second place with Mayer just still hanging in there. He's just kind of watching and waiting. Not sure if he's got anything for these guys, or he's going to be happy with a P4, which he may be. But Dantas and Samoas, I guarantee you this battle is not over yet. At least one, probably 2 more laps. So that should be, there'll be at least another pass, I would say. As we see him, see Samoas just get really, yep. I'm going to say that's me with the comment.
Yeah.
Samoas just locked it up, coming through turn 11, back onto, and up into the wall. Slight touch of the wall. White flag.
We got white flag in the air for Marco Pinero, 16 seconds ahead of everybody else. Pinero has been on a masterful drive here today, like always. Just got a few more quarters to go for Marco. It's a battle going through the field. Bobby West and Megan Overstreet going side by side of each other for 8th place.
Yeah, actually, yeah. So they've kind of swapped positions the last couple of laps. They're still battling for this one spot. Yes, P8 overall. Be a good finish for both of these cars, and so that they're going to see if they can make this one last pass stick before this race is over with.
One last opportunity, but Marco Pinero takes another win here at the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warriors Racing Series. And what a round it has been for Marco Pinero. And coming through that turn 4 as well is Aaron Vogeli Lithium, I believe, to take their first Spec 2 victory, sitting in 7th place. They're up 5 spots from where they started. It's been a masterful drive for them, and they're going to finish and win Spec 2.
Yep, and just behind them was Antonio Reese Gannett to get the Masters win over Nelson. Was a little bit further back, 2-second gap in the end, but that was a great battle to watch during the race.
What a race, and what a drive for all of our class winners, as I'm pretty sure all of them are going to be extremely happy about that finish right there, as Phoenix is in the books, as everybody is either a little bit sweating and just calming down right there, or just celebrating their heads off. I know a few people are going to be celebrating that race here today. Marco Pinero is going to be celebrating like he always celebrates it. He wins a lot. He's practiced with it. He takes ahead of Eduardo Dantas, Simon Meyer, Felix Samoas, Alex Plava, Jason Green, Aaron Vogel, the Fox Box Racing Machine, taking their first Spec 2 victory in 7th place. Bobby West, Megan Overstreet, Antonio Reese wins in the Masters class, finishing in 10th place ahead of Michael Nelson, Chris Murakami, Todd Hansen, Fabio Scali, Jim Brewster, and Tobino. They're followed by Tom Gradwell and Adam Bradshaw, Charlie Vaccaro, Ian Gibson, Chris Montgomery, Jeff Cantor, Dan Wood, Jeff Jacobson, Brad Cathcart, and Mike Knutson, followed by Andrea Favini and Bob Curran in 28th place. Behind them is Bradford Gold, Stephen Mitchell, Giovanni Logan, and Pedro Cavarlo, and Luca Leone, Trenton Kramer, Paul Jackson, and Julian Calapitero, and Phil Berry. They're followed by Mark Sherman in 38th place. Dan Keller, Michelle Vagellini, Aiden Campbell, Kane Laskin, Ken Bately, Marco Trespidi, Ben Jacobs, Toxin New, Gary Woodwell, Andreas Bertoni, Duda Castro, and York Monty at the end of our 50-car grid. Stevie Ray sets the record for the longest time in the pit lane, and we are sitting by with our Spec 2 race winner, and I believe their first Spec 2 race win for Foxbox Racing, Aaron Vogel. Aaron, how are you feeling after that?
Shocked and surprised, actually. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, shocked and surprised as you may be, your pace was definitely not shocking at all. You qualified really well. You started in the top 20 and you moved up 5 spots to finish 7th overall here today. How are you feeling about that?
I am actually really happy with that. Like, words cannot express honestly how excited and like just overwhelmed I am with that, because I went into this race thinking, I'll just show up, I'll do my best, whatever, and then just I guess I had the pace. I practiced a little bit more this week and was able to put in a good finish.
And a good finish it was, and I'm pretty sure everybody is going to be very happy at that. And I'm pretty sure you have some people you want to thank, so the floor is yours if you want to have anybody shout out.
Honestly, I'm going to thank Yancey, because he provided the setup, gave me some tips while I was doing the race the other day, and honestly, thank you. I don't think I could have done it without your input, so thank you.
Well, congrats on that fantastic win, and congrats on a fantastic race. We'll see you next week, and we hope you have a wonderful, wonderful time, and I hope everybody on your Twitch stream enjoyed that race as well.
Thank you.
And over to Charles, who's joined by Antonio Reese.
Hey, Antonio, congrats on the win. Noticed you weren't here last week, and so you're back this week, and you seem like you had a pretty good battle with Nelson.
Hello, good night, everyone. Yeah, we have a nice battle, me and Michael and Chris. Sorry for Manny, something happened with him, and he would be the winner if not for that. But anyway, I take it.
Yeah, Jord got kind of snake bit. There was several cars up in the front of the field that got taken out early, but we enjoyed watching with Michael and Murakami as well. So is there anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, I want to thank to Steve Ray for everything he's done, and for the drivers here, for you guys on the broadcast, and for the the sponsor, the RaceVoice, and for everyone watching. Yeah, and for the drivers, especially on the track, for Michael, he was really driving together was really, and Chris was really nice on the time we were together.
Well, congratulations, Antonio.
Thank you. Okay, guys, see you next time. Thanks for having me.
That was Antonio Reese. Keep it short and sweet right there, as we are calling today over from Phoenix, as we hop back into our time machine and go back into reality. Next week, we head to one of our favorite tracks in the world. We head to Barber Motorsports Park, the short version without the Alabama roller coaster section. It's the short A version there at Barber. Charles, how are you feeling about next week?
Oh, well, it's home sweet home. I'm 20 minutes from the track. Maybe just throw a laptop up and I'll just go out and set up the track and call the race from there. It'd be fun. Obviously, if you don't get a chance to ride the roller coaster at Barber, it's a little less, but it's going to be a fun race, and obviously looking forward to calling it.
I'm looking forward to this race because the short A version is actually a little bit more racecraft friendly than the one with the Alabama roller coaster. It provides a little bit more opportunity to be side by side. So with these drivers, I am very excited to see how everyone tackles this race. Thank you everybody for joining us here on Apex Racing TV for the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warriors, presented by RaceVoice. Presented by RaceVoice here from Phoenix. I've been joined by Charles Bushell and Jonathan Grabowski in the production booth. I'm Austin Knight, and I hope y'all have a good night.